Hi. So, in being what I said at the in the last video was, I've been talking about righteousness and purity, how that's something that I really want, being head over heels in love. That I believe that these things are attainable, head over heels in love with God. That is, although I am with my wife as well. She's very lovely. I could do a whole separate vlog just about her. Um, what do I do when I find that I can't actually just say I am righteous, I am pure, you know? And I said that the scripture makes provision for that in that we are witnesses. So I want to describe to you the certain key distinctions that are important to draw. So you've got scientists who hypothesize theories which they then test experimentally to verify whether those hypotheses are true or not, that they then present to other people to say, here's the evidence that what I have proposed is true. That's kind of similar to being a witness, kind of similar. Then you've got philosophers who like to use logic and they string together logical arguments. And the way that that works is when you're presented with that logical argument, unless you can use logic to beat that argument, it can give you the feeling that you've been beaten in an argument and that therefore you must be wrong. And if you don't want to accept that you're wrong, it can make you feel like, well, then you're just stupid. So that's how sometimes it can work in philosophy. Not always, but sometimes. You've then got judges who sit in judgment, and it's their role, it's their job. Um, and when given certain evidence, they make a judgment to say, okay, you're guilty or you're not guilty, and this is the judgment that I've made, and this is the punishment that I'm going to apportion to you. So in a way, we're none of those things. As witnesses, what we are, we're not judges. We've not come to judge. We're not scientists testing God, drawing up hypotheses necessarily. It's not necessarily what we are. We're not logicians using logic to out-argue people. The way that we are characterized is to be a witness. That means giving testimony. That means telling stories that are true. Stories about yourself, stories about things that you've seen, that you've witnessed. That's what we are. And how is that relevant to all of this? Well, you know how I said I can't just say I'm righteous. I can't just say I'm pure. I have to I have to live as a witness. And the thing about a witness is, unlike a logician who's using logical arguments or a scientist who's testing and proving hypotheses, a witness simply presents, says, this is what I've seen. This is what's happening. This is what I believe. Now, I can quite legitimately say, I believe in righteousness. I believe in purity. But as a witness, what I present you with is my testimony. I present you with my story. A witness respects the right of the listener to accept or reject what they've been told. And a witness doesn't put the pressure on the listener that unless you believe what I'm saying, there's something wrong with you. A witness does what Jesus says. Look at the speck or the plank in your own eye first. A witness, the onus is on them to be a credible witness. So in all of my talking about being pure and being righteous, particularly those two words I love, righteousness and purity, my job isn't to try and prove that to you like a scientist. My job isn't to try to logically argue you out of your position and into mine. My job is to just be a witness, to say, this is what I believe. This is the life that I'm living. This is my story. Do you buy it? And if you don't, hey, I respect that fully. And if you don't, I think I'm probably just going to ask, is there something I could have done better? Can I be a more credible witness somehow? I'm not just going to come out and say, hey, I'm pure, I'm righteous. That's not my job. The reason why I'm so keen to power through these videos is because I want to get on and live the life. I want a story to tell. And I want that story, I'd love that story to change hearts and to change minds. I want that story to bless people and to call people into the very best life that they can live as Christians. I can just be a witness. That's all I can do. I can't do anything more than that. So that's my role in this life. That's my job. That's my calling. And that's why I power through these videos. And so what I'm going to do, so I've told you what it is. So I've told you that I believe in righteousness, that it's a real thing that we can have. And I believe in life to the full and nothing less than full. And I believe in freedom, and that's about our feelings and how we feel as much as it is about our thoughts and minds and how we think. And I've told you about my desire to recapture my first love in God, to be head over heels in love with him, and for that to be an unbroken chain of events, like a treadmill that I never stop running on. So let the evidence now present itself in the testimony and the story of my life. That's the deal. That's the purpose. And if I truly have found something here that is righteousness, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. So let's start talking about how I'm going to pray and what I'm actually going to do with this life that I believe that I've found.